A lot of opportunities. I don't think we've covered the opportunities that we have and that the content creation space has to offer, right? I remember when I first started, I started as far back as 2015, and it was a struggle to even get the algorithm to focus on us, and by us, I mean Africans, Nigerians, right? It felt like the algorithm was not pushing our content to people, so we had that blanket over us. But now we have our videos going viral. We have an average Nigerian can just post a video now and it reaches far across even our borders. So the opportunities exist, and it even goes far beyond money. It's now more of influence. It's now more of shaping a narrative, right? I can imagine if a video talking about, I don't know, so talking about a product that an African built, for example, if that video goes viral, it has shaped that narrative of, Africans can actually develop a technology that can do so well, right? So for me, it goes, for what I do as a tech content creator, it goes beyond money. It actually goes beyond what I can get, but what I'm leaving behind as a creator in my space, right? So for anybody that's looking to jump into the content creation space, I would say, please, I feel that the sky is big enough for everybody, and we have not even uncovered what the market has to offer generally, both in terms of influence and in terms of even the money.
Right.
Yeah.
And Chris, just to double down on the economic side of the conversation, the creative industry in Nigeria already employs about 4.2 million Nigerians, and it could add a lot more according to some of the projections. 2.7 million this year, that was the projection. What kinds of capacity building as well as training, as someone who understands this space very well, what is going on there and what do we need to amplify it to maximize the success stories?
Okay, again, the creative industry has been a bit underemphasized. That is why I appreciate the Honorable Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Economy for her projection. She's projecting the economy, the creative economy, to grow to as much as $100 billion by 2030. Now, when she said that, a lot of people thought it was ambitious, but I felt it was even under-ambitious, if there's any word like that, because I was privileged to be in the COVID-19 a committee set up by the last administration post-COVID to assess the impact of COVID-19 on the creative sector. And we found something very interesting, which I was sharing with my friends yesterday. What we found in that committee was that the creative industry, IT and broadcasting, the three, contributed more to Nigeria's GDP than oil and gas and mining combined. Now, what are the figures? We found out that the creative industry, IT and broadcasting, did to the GDP about 12.3%, whereas oil and gas and mining combined did just about 8.9%. And as big as insurance and finance did just 3%. With real estate, as big as real estate, just 6.4%. So it means the creative economy, the creative industry, IT and broadcasting, is bigger than all this, both in value chain and in ecosystem. Because as big as manufacturing did just 9.2%. So if you juxtapose it, you see that the creative industry, IT and broadcasting, has done more to the GDP than all this. As at then, the only sector that was bigger than the creative industry was agriculture, because then agriculture did over 42%. Because even services and other industries combined did just 33.3%. So technically, it is a large ecosystem, both in employment. I'll give you an example, even with my film, Memartaba, we were cast and crew 520. There is Aminu Sera here. See how much he does on social media. There is on YouTube. There is Meshada. See how much they do. See the numbers. Is there so? See the numbers. And so see the employment values. See the national reorientation values in all this. So it is a sector that cannot be overlooked. Now that said, to zero down on the question is that as young creatives or as creatives within this value chain, it is that the government need to do more. This time around, not because the young people are already finding their path. So it is to create the right policies and the right environmental frameworks for the industry to thrive. Because what is China doing differently? Because China controls about 35% of export from creative goods. And if you do the number from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, they did an outlook in 2024 to appraise 2023. And they found that the global creative economy from export from goods and creative services was doing over $2 billion. So if you take it from export from creative goods alone, it was about $713 billion. Then you take creative services where you have film production, you have music production, and all that. That was doing about $1.4 billion. So put together, it was huge. But China controls 35% of it.
Right. And then, Casey, coming to you, just to pick up on the $100 billion target by 2030, how can visual artists like you, for instance, what role do you think you can play in actualizing that? And what sort of support do you need for that to happen, since there's obviously a market for it, domestically and internationally?
Okay, domestically there is a market, but I wouldn't say the market is that strong yet for visual artists, because we still have people who underlook visual arts, to be honest. Because I work in a gallery and I hear some comments. People still undervalue visual arts. I feel we should make our art more appreciated. And I feel the reason why people still undervalue visual art is because some artists do not value their own art. We have artists who will make their works and you see them by the roadside, and because they are hungry, they're offering you peanuts just to buy their art. Now, if we had a funding scheme where artists are being catered for and then their work is for value sakes, then we wouldn't have artworks that are undervalued, and then we will get to that point. But unfortunately, most artists are quite hungry, and most events or most exhibitions we have are usually themed exhibitions trying to settle one thing or the other, or one trouble or the other, not really focusing on culture. Now you have themed exhibitions where people are saying, okay, the plight of women, the misery of children in Africa and all that, not really focusing on the culture but trying to solve a problem. But I feel if, like we have NGOs and organizations who are bringing up ideas or exhibitions for artists, visual artists, generally, not just painters, should have broader themes that are encouraging for people to buy. Because you get to see themes where people paint or make artworks and then they keep in their houses. They are not sellable. So we should have themes that are broader, more sellable, promoting culture. Like I said earlier, our art is our tool. We are the storytellers of our culture. So I feel most arts should actually speak about our culture.
And where do you see platforms like, say, Afrimax, for instance, stepping in to amplify your visibility, for instance, which sometimes could open you to new markets?
Well, Afrimax can have situations where they spotlight artists or art shows, and I feel that's a major tool, spotlighting artists, art galleries, art spaces, and showing the importance. Just by media showing it forward, it's a big tool.